Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the recap of the latest 90 Day Fiance show. Today, guys, they featured both Richard and Kathleen, or should I say Richard, as well as Shaun and Christine. And I have to say, this week's episode did not disappoint. Unfortunately, we don't have clips for me to be able to show you guys, but I would love to be able to deep dive into what went on in today's episode. Now, we're going to start with Shaun and Christine. Now, if you remember what happened last week or the last time that I reported on Shaun and Christine, you will remember that Christine left the house, right? She left the house because she was tired of Shaun lying, tired of Shaun not being truthful about his finances, and she just needed to get away. So in this episode, she actually returns home. Right? Shaun apologizes and he was like, oh my God, this time spent away. I really realize how important you are in my life and I never want to lose you and Christian and all of that stuff. So he went on his apology tour and eventually she forgave him. Now, 2 hours later, there was a blow up between Shaun's mom and Christine. Now, we do not know the context of the blow up. We do not know the context of the blow up. They didn't show any part of that in the episode. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was said. All we know is there was an argument and shit hit the fan with the quickness. We are not privy to the information, but all I know is Shaun's mom and Christine were on the outs. So Shaun basically told his mom, look, I'm a ride or die for my chick. I'm a ride or die for my wife and my son, and I'm basically choosing them over you. Apparently, there was some things said about Christine being there for financials and all of that stuff, being there for the money. When they had their argument and split up a little bit, I guess Shaun's mom went on the fritz, and she was kind of upset that Christine actually left the house. I don't know what it was. All I know is she was on one that day, and I don't know what was said, but let's just say they were on the outs for for a couple of weeks, they said. As I was saying, guys, Shaun was basically forced to choose his wife or felt pressured to choose his wife over his mom. All right, so as I'm looking at my paperwork real quick, give me a uno momento. Eventually in the episode, things calm down and Shaun's mom and Christine actually have a conversation. They end up making up in the episode. They both said some things that were hurtful, things that we do not know, or things that were not seen in the episode. But eventually it's like they kiss and make up and all is on the up and up. Towards the end of the episode, Shaun has this elaborate scheme to actually propose to Christine. So he sets up his little blanket, little picnic blanket, got the little bubbly and all of that shit. And he ultimately proposes to her at the end of the episode. Of course, Christine says, I do. But in case you guys don't remember something that we talked about in episode 1, you're going to probably have to go all the way back to find it. But Christine is still legally married in the Philippines. As far as we know, Christine is still married in the Philippines, y'all. So that's going to be a little bit of a questionable situation. Knowing Shaun is broke as hell right now, with all due respect. Knowing that he ain't got no monies to afford their lifestyle right now. So how is he going to be able to afford an annulment? How can he propose to this young lady? I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to figure out how that plays out in the episodes to come. Now let's talk about Richard and Kathleen. This part right here was quick and straight to the point, ladies and gentlemen, and I have to admit, it cut like a goddamn chef's knife through butter, because it cut deep. So Richard basically comes back from the Philippines after having his time with Kathleen, and Kathleen basically ghosted him. Basically, Kathleen, since Richard has come back to the UK, has ghosted him. Basically, she ain't returning none of his phone calls. She sent a quick little text message basically saying it ain't working out, and she hasn't talked to him on the phone for a while. That is all they talked about this episode. Basically, when Richard came back to the UK, Kathleen ghosted his ass. Right? And, he keeps saying these slick things about, now who was going to pick up my socks for me and shit. And I do believe that this did not necessarily do him any favors, right? When a young lady sees that you're pretty much only going to use her to be like a housemaid or something, or she gets that vibe, and even your own friends are telling you that you're giving off the vibe that you're just looking more for a maid more so than a wife. To that extent, it does make people feel away. There's nothing we can say about it. And I think that Kathleen probably realized that it may not be the best for her to do that. She knows that she could get to the UK on her own without Rich's help at all, and I think she's just going to push through and she's going to make it happen that way. I don't think she's genuinely happy in a relationship, and Richard is feeling it, or Richard is basically, saying that he's crying himself to sleep at night and he can't do anything else because Kathleen ain't returning none of his phone calls. He feels like he don't deserve this. He feels like his time in the Philippines was, a promising one, and their future was promising, but I guess Kathleen sees things a little bit differently. Now, again, this is only what's happening in this episode. Maybe in the episodes to come, Kathleen may come back around, or maybe she's just like, you know what, Richard, me and you, we just ain't on the same page, love, and it's just not gonna happen. Right? But when your friends start to see that the way you're talking about your young lady or your potential future wife kind of sounds like you're looking for a maid, I kind of feel like that type of vibe and energy is definitely going to seep in and, seep through, and show through your true colors, man. And, I don't know exactly if you mean it the way that you say it, but when people say that's a red ass flag, and I mean, you're just waving at some bitch in the air like, look at me, like that, chances are it's not a good look, Richard. It's not a good look. I hope it all works out for all the couples, ladies and gentlemen, but that is all that I have to report for this particular episode of the 90 Day Fiancé. If you want me to continue covering, make sure you drop a like, make sure you comment down below on the things that we talked about in this episode today. Sorry there were no visuals because, again, trying to cut that shit, it became a pain in the ass, and sometimes my record don't act right. So that is the update on the 90 Day Fiancé saga in the UK version. I still think it's a little bit more authentic than the version that we have in the United States and the other parts of the world, but I love it, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. If you did, you already know what to do. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, man. It's been a good doc. Y'all take care, man. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.